Welcome, welcome, welcome. Here we are with Dem Boys Watch Footy. Here, my name's E. Here with my boy PJ. How's it going?
Me.
Yeah,
That's me.
now we are starting to talk about some football.
We are.
Some soccer, as us Americans love to call it. But footy, I thought, was probably going to be best how we were going to reach our audience. So, yeah.
If anyone's like super like American watching this, they probably don't know what footy means. But it's soccer if you haven't figured it out by now. So
I mean, I don't subscribe to it, but I'm glad you do.
considering all of our, we don't have any subscribers yet. We'll see what our demographic is. So if you're watching from England, you probably know what we mean.
Yeah, but we can rock with footy right now.
Exactly.
But yeah, here is your one-stop shop for casual football knowledge, some culture, some fun. Here we go with some Dem Boys Watch Footy. How'd you turn out this weekend?
My weekend was pretty decent. I'm a DJ by trade, so I was spinning some tunes and watching some soccer games, some highlights and stuff. That was my hungover Sunday. I was watching EPL highlights, English Premier League, and MLS and stuff. What about you?
Just about the same, except for trade that drunken hangover with pulling weeds out of a garden. No idea why I decided to torture myself with Brooklyn backyard, but hopefully this summer it looks good. Right now, what we're trying to talk about is where we started off with football and kind of why we're trying to do this today. So me and PJ, we've both met in Blaine, Minnesota.
Minnesota. Exactly.
We only had 18 teams at the time.
Context is important.
Yeah.
Context is important, yeah. So Major League Soccer, the top tier league in the United States, has, I don't know if it still does, but they had a training, how would you even describe it?
Sales training center.
Sales training center to sell soccer tickets.
Yeah.
So we met in literally a call center, like you see like in the movies, in Blaine, Minnesota, and we had to make a minimum of, I believe, 75 calls per day to random people. We're like, do you want to come see Minnesota United in the 7th division of the United States before they became the top division?
Yeah, actually in Major League, yeah.
Yeah. So that's how we met, and that was a good time. That was
I can't go back to thinking about like making 125 calls.
Yeah, I think the podcast is a lot more exciting than they're like, hi, my name is Pierpont Johnson. I saw that you purchased season tickets in 2018. Well, guess what? We're running a deal. I'm like, PJ, you need a little more enthusiasm. I'm like, I'm trying. So this is more fun. We can just
chill. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you worked in soccer longer, but that was how we met and our first exposure to getting into the sport. How did you? So part of the podcast I think is going to be about the growth of the game in the U.S. and like how people either become fans of soccer or. Our goal, at least for me, is to maybe try to convert a few more people.
Yeah, I am trying to convert. I'm trying to get people to get excited, get the casual lovers going, try to get some of the actual diehards to listen to what we got. So I started off with you over in Minnesota, got placed out in Colorado. You got placed in New England, yeah? New England Revolution?
I worked for the New England Revolution, and then you worked for the
Rapids.
Rapids, which where I was from, so that was like the safe move for me.
Yeah, I had to bust my tail all the way over to Denver, Colorado.
Yeah,
from Baltimore. You still have your elevator pitch, by the way, on YouTube?
Oh my God. So to get this job, we had to pitch ourselves to work there.
30 to 40 seconds, yeah?
I showed my other friends, like my college friends, they were dying laughing.
Same.
Hi, I'm Pierpont Johnson, and I'm really passionate about the game of soccer. I think there's a lot of growth. I'm wearing this like blazer that like didn't fit me and everything.
Yeah.
And but you were there for a long time. I was only with the Revolution for like 6 months. They're like, you're not that good at this job, maybe you should try something else.
Okay.
How was your experience working with the Rapids? I feel like you can talk more about it because I only worked for the MLS for like a little bit.
Rapids was a really good time. I have so much swag from there. It's kind of insane.
Still.
Yeah, I brought all of that over. I busted all over when I moved myself to New York, started working for the Cosmos. I just really enjoy like kind of growing the game.
I guess for me, I mean, maybe because you were a little higher up the job was a little more exciting and challenging, but just because I was an entry-level salesperson, I had this idea that it would be talking about soccer the whole time and like having these debates. When in reality, it was just calling coaches and parents. Was like, does your son want to see 4 games? We'll have like a 20% discount. I'm just a car salesman. I'm not getting paid as much.
Oh, back then, my main thing that I was really trying to do is get people from underserved communities to actually come to the game. So Manhattan doing the reverse commute out. It's a Long Island to get people to go out to games.
Long Island.
Yeah, it's a very strong island. It was,
what are you doing out there?
It was an issue, but hey, we are alive now.
No way.
Yeah. So that's how I've learned so much about New York, is just trying to get people and just trying to get them connected with it.
I follow the U.S. team because I feel like I'm American and like that's my team, and I guess the Revolution because that's where I'm from. But I always just found it really interesting and random that you arbitrarily pick a random team to go for. So how did you become an Arsenal fan?
Well, funny enough, it was because of the video games. So FIFA back in the day, if you don't know, one of the greatest computer games of all time.
You still got a game?
Oh yeah, it's called EAFC now. So
wait, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, FIFA is no longer in partnership with Electronic Arts.
Wait,
was the
first
first
I had
one.
FIFA 23. I had it. Was FIFA? Oh,
that was the last one. Yeah. And so, yeah, that was a game back in the day. But funny enough,
oh my God,
I wasn't even a big FIFA fan. I was a FIFA Street fan.
Yeah.
And Thierry Henry was the player I played with my creative character.
Yeah.
And I did some digging, and I was just like, oh, okay, this guy's really good.
It sounds trivial to talk about video games, but I really think there is a power in it.
That's the gateway.
because in the United States, while there are a lot of dedicated fans, there's not a lot of casual fans. So TV ratings don't match attendance. So how do people get into soccer? And I was going to explain how I got into it, and it was from studying abroad, but I remembered I actually started playing FIFA the year before I went to Italy.
Oh, word.
And that was how I got into it. Yeah.
Okay.
I was playing with Chelsea, and I beat my friend. I'm like, oh, shit. So I want to actually say FIFA is what got me into soccer, too. Or I would have friends that didn't like soccer. They wouldn't play soccer, but they loved FIFA.
Yeah, and you knew you would have to pick the top
really
teams.
Did have some, I know it sounds crazy, but I think the video game
in the US
did
for
have
sure
some impact on the growth of the game.
Here. I would definitely say so. Like in another one of our topics that we're going to talk about later.
I would still beat you, but we'll talk about that later. I just wanted to, because I don't have a team. Like I saw a Fulham game because they had a statue. Brian McBride, I believe, one of the American players.
They need to have one of Clint Dempsey too.
They should.
It's an interesting space that we can kind of live in, especially with the World Cup coming up in 2026. And then what I've been learning, even with my friend group now, unless you're my friends that are diehards of footy, nobody knows it's here. It's coming.
No. Incredible, and like shows you a little bit how corrupt FIFA is, but that a country where the sport isn't even the top 3, although it is growing, gets the World Cup twice. Granted, it's split with Canada and Mexico twice in 32 years. That's insane. I mean, there's countries that are so much more passionate that might never see a World Cup because they don't have the resources.
Yeah, but you also got to think about it like, do you really want these places that don't have the infrastructure to just build it up and then just tear it all back down right after? Because we saw that with Brazil. We saw that Germany was really good. South Korea still.
Good point.
Yeah, and then Qatar.
I mean, I know it's messed up that not only the World Cup, but the Copa America, which is traditionally a South American tournament, is going to be here. Because
that's weird to me.
One reason and one reason only.
Yeah.
They can sell the U.S., I believe, gets more, at least in a lot of World Cups, more people come from the United States than any other country. But they're not all the U.S. fans.
Okay.
They're fans of other teams. So, like, people from Mexico or Ecuador or whatever. So, for me, I see that as, like, a big opportunity to maybe convert some people to U.S. men's national team fans. I'm a big fan. You're like, you like them, but you're not, like, as into it. We'll get into that a little more later.
Exactly.
We'll get into it a little more later. But at the end of the day, am I complaining that when the World Cup comes, I give a 30-minute ride over to the Meadowlands to watch games?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm happy.
If
it's messed up.
If I get that chance, I'm probably going to try to tailgate.
Yeah.
Like it's the biggest game. Like the last World Cup final, you had Messi versus Mbappe, France versus Argentina.
Yep.
One of the greatest finals I've ever seen live. And fairy tale for Messi, he's now won everything. That was amazing to see. But let's move on to more topical things right now.
Yeah.
So this past weekend, we had a bunch of games. So what we want to talk about normally moving forward is all world football. So whatever happened this past weekend, we are going to talk about Premier League. We're going to talk about MLS. We're going to talk about some Sud-America games. We may even go into some Kaiser Chiefs.
You guys
territory.
want the Chilean second division? We can do our research. Just
yeah, it was Arsenal versus Manchester City. 0-0 was the scoreline. We had some chances. They had some chances. Overall, it was just not it. It was you could see who was set up to win and who was set up to get that draw. It's tactically really great. Watching it as a casual fan, I can understand why you would turn it off. Mm-hmm. That's all. That's really all you got to say about that game right now. I'm glad for the point. The team that we're going to talk about next is Liverpool versus Brighton. They came back to win 2-1 over Brighton. So now they are the odds-on favorite to win the Premier League.
Liverpool.
Yeah. It's only 9 games left between the top 3, Arsenal, Manchester City, and Liverpool. And because Liverpool won that game, Manchester City and Arsenal drew, 2 points ahead in the table. We'll see.
Who's top of the table right now?
Liverpool.
Yeah.
I mean, what's this? It's Klopp's last year. It's his. That's the legendary coach with them.
Then he's come to the U.S.
I have some ideas about coaches that need to come to the U.S., but
imagine?
We can do that later. That's for future topics. Yeah,
I know.
Well, the last games that I have, MLS, Inter Miami versus NYCFC, ended up with a 1-1 draw. Luis Suarez, who's the big import for this year. So you have Lionel Messi, you have Jordi Alba and Sergio Busquets, all from Barcelona fame. Luis Suarez just came over as well this past year, and he's on a scoring tear. He's got like 5 straight games with a goal. Yep. But it's not enough. They have Busquets at center back. This man is one of the most revolutionary center defensive mids of all time.
Easily.
And yeah, it's just, how do you feel about MLS's full throttle of tactics currently right now? Like what I'm seeing in the league, I'm enjoying. Like there's real good scoring, but this 1-1 against NYCFC kind of has me nervous. So tactically, what do you see with MLS?
Well, MLS, because of the designated player rule, which I believe there's 3 slots. So basically, every team has a salary cap.
Yeah.
But you can spend whatever the hell you want on 3 players. So what do we want? Tickets in the seats. That's what we learned at soccer. So they tend to buy more attacking players. What that means is that teams generally have good attack, but the defense is, well, I mean, like you could probably fill in at like wing back or something. So it's exciting because there's a lot of goals. But I think one of the biggest criticisms of the league is like that defense was hilarious.
Yeah,
I think it's getting better. I think the quality of the league is getting better. I'm
not talking about quality. I'm talking about coaching. Like
coaching.
Yeah, coaching tactically, I just don't see it.
That's an interesting take. I know the answer, but I think it's worth debating at some point. Get a little more granular, because people don't usually talk about the coaches. People talk about
players all the time.
People are talking about
it's a two-way street. Like what we're seeing with the greats over in Europe, even when we see internationally, you could see when someone gets outcoached. Like you could see when tactically things are being broken down, and you're like, wait.
You watch MLS like that to like analyze.
I've watched enough games where I can just say like,
someone has Apple TV. I get it.
We got to use it.
You got a backyard and Apple TV. Good for you. I don't know the answer, but I definitely am going to be more cognizant of tactics. Generally, the idea was that the MLS teams did not have a lot of depth. Yeah. So their top 5 players, like Inter Miami, for example, their top 5 players are Suarez, Messi, Busquets, Jordi Alba, and they're actually pretty solid, like starting lineup. But then like their 17th player was like in the 3rd division of Germany. So that to me was what may or may not be true. But that to me was always a matter of depth.
Yeah.
But coaching, I think that's a topic that we can we can look at into more.
That's really what I'm looking at, because it can't just be the players all the time. Like, it could be sometimes. Like, you can tell
there's just such a drastic when you have Messi getting paid whatever, not including sponsorship, like salary, whatever, 10 million a year, I don't know what it is exactly, and then someone else on the team literally making 60 grand a year.
Hey, unions need to work harder. We're seeing that in other sports in the United States. Like, the unions needs to work a little bit harder.
I mean, but
for
like
their
when you look at
players.
like the NFL or the NBA, yes, there's still like LeBron's making 30 mil, but like the lowest played player in the Lakers is still making a couple $1 million a year. There's not like that. Imagine like Messi's got like his own private jet, and the other guy is like taking like a Uber, like a shared Uber to the game.
I think that happens everywhere though.
It's the only sports league in the entire world that I know of. Maybe it exists somewhere in like the Russian 4th Division or something, but that I know that has this rule. Like,
well, I mean,
get fancy.
We can go into all like the full depth of MLS for a full deep dive.
Yeah,
like, but
we'll save that for episode 5.
Yeah, but I think where we need to transition into is advertising in football. Why, right now, is there no good commercial? But that's the thing. Like, you can create your own. Like we're doing right now. We're creating a podcast. We're giving a platform. Everybody has their own platforms right now. It's really enjoyable time for media people. But I'm talking like iconic, like the old school Ronaldinho commercials. You have really good David Beckham commercials. Even the Landon Donovan with a U.S. Soccer commercial. And I'm just like, all right, who are these people? Like, tell me a little bit more, Nike. Like, because they've been sponsoring the kit forever. So, like, I'm not seeing that any longer.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I still feel as though, like, even become 4th in this country. I still feel as though
just over past hockey.
Yeah. So it's football, basketball, baseball.
Yeah.
Now it's footy. Let's get that right.
Yeah. Sorry, hockey. Only good to play you in places above 40 degrees latitude. Hockey has its popularity is essentially limited to places where they can play hockey all the time. When you're saying advertising, do you mean?
I'm talking about Christian Pulisic. Where is his advertising?
It's funny you say that because there's literally a picture of him outside my local deli, but I think that's an exception. And we're in New York City, which is like diverse and like, not to get too into the topic, but like metropolitan places and like socio-politically like more progressive places are into soccer in the United States.
Yeah.
Where in other countries it's not necessarily like that.
You have the World Cup coming.
Yeah.
Why is no one like the spokesperson for the World Cup happening anywhere?
Let's make it happen.
That's
someone watch this and get excited. Yeah, I mean it's definitely an opportunity to grow the game, like with different communities and stuff.
We've learned, but we haven't pushed anybody forward.
It's very interesting because soccer right now, despite its growing, it's a very niche thing. Like I follow all these podcasts and like these people that are just as passionate about it as I am, but they are like a very small demographic of people. So attendance in Major League Soccer is very good because you have these hardcore fans and the tickets aren't expensive.
Yeah.
So attendance is higher than the NFL, or not the NFL. NFL is still by far number one.
Way higher.
But it's higher than the NBA and the NHL. Granted, there's less games.
Fact check, please.
We'll take that into context. It's around, if not higher. Yeah, I mean, we're talking 20,000 people per game. The problem with the league and the thing that needs to grow, which ties into advertising, is no one watches it on TV. It's an important point because that's going to help get people.
Yeah, seeing that doing my own, and I'm not seeing any of the players getting pushed right now
in the United States.
Well, I mean, we're looking good. Pulisic has been looking really decent at Milan.
He is playing so, and you brought up a good point. He is playing so well. And like no one outside of like in
this bubble.
In my world, when I'm watching all these YouTube people that I follow, they're talking about it all the time. But when I'm with my friends, like no one knows who. I don't know if like Jiggy knows who Christian Pulisic is.
Do you know who? Nope.
He doesn't know. He's the best player we've ever had by far. Maybe not the most accomplished.
Definitely,
he's the most talented.
Yeah, he's definitely the most talented.
Yes, we can. That debate could last forever, so let's not go down that route. Yeah. But he's definitely the most talented and has achieved the most at the club level. But what % of the American population knows who Christian Pulisic? My test is my mom. My mom follows like popular culture a good amount, but she's not like crazy about it. So my mom's like limit would be like maybe like 2 Chainz might be like a 50-50 chance for her.
I feel it.
So I'm gonna ask my mom.
What's your mom's favorite 2 Chainz song?
I mean, it's got to be which one? I love bad bitches. That's my. I'm curious to see how much the general population is going to be like excited and receptive to the World Cup happening, and I think that it will. The question is how much of a lasting impact, because the '94 World Cup, while I was too young to remember it, it created the MLS and it helped grow the game. How much is this going to take the next step for the game in the United States? It was a very interesting question. Hopefully the answer is a lot. We're not getting paid.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah. Doing it for the love of the game, people.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, hopefully while listening, we're just gonna drop a lot more knowledge, a lot more gems while we continue to go. So yeah.
Before closing out, like, what do you think are some themes that the people can expect going forward that are important that you want to get out there?
Oh, we have a bunch. We got culture specific. Why aren't we seeing enough jerseys like actively in things?
There are messy jerseys. Like when I went to Peru and people are wearing messy jerseys, but Inter Miami, I'm like, people in a soccer crazy country are wearing a U.S. soccer jersey.
Yeah,
it's
MLS.
messy, but this is an MLS jersey. It wasn't an Argentina jersey.
Exactly.
So I'm like, people were wearing MLS jerseys in Lima, Peru, but no one is but
yeah,
there's an opportunity for it.
There's a huge opportunity in the U.S. Like, we just need more people to capitalize.
Yeah.
We need more word of mouth. We need more people listening. So yeah.
And,
what about you? Yeah. What do you want to talk about as well?
Well, I think this was your idea, but I think it's very important because people will always be like, can you imagine if like our starting lineup was like LeBron James and Russell Westbrook and LaDainian Tomlinson was like our wing back, and getting more people like in the inner cities into the game, because it's like such an opportunity, because soccer in other countries, anyone can just go play and you can get recruited from playing on the streets or whatever. But here it's the pay to play system.
Yep.
Long story short, without going too deep into it now, it's expensive to play.
Yeah.
I think they're trying to change it. I don't know how far they got. We might need to have someone who's like an expert on youth soccer that we could interview.
I have somebody like that. I have a
Let's
few.
go.
Yeah.
So that's something that I think is a big opportunity going forward.
Okay, so yeah, we're trying to lay out the roadmap for you guys. Hopefully you want to continue listening with us. These bets. So yeah, I have done pretty well with just my football bets. That's probably the only betting that I'm good at right now.
Yeah.
I've made a nice little coin that has saved my skin a few times. Where
Paid for the 1 terabyte hard drive to store a podcast.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
So what's going on because you can educate me while you educate them, because I don't bet on soccer. Not opposed to it. If there's any bet online you want to sponsor us, we can talk. But
that would be pretty dope. Midweek football for the first time in a few weeks with the Premier League coming up. So one of the games that I want to highlight on is Arsenal versus Luton Town.
Luton Town. I assume Luton Town is in Luton Town. I know Ethan Horvath plays for Luton Town. That's.
Oh, where?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
put my money.
Well, I was going to say Arsenal over Luton Town, but then I was also going to tell people to do 3.5 goals over. So, Arsenal versus Luton Town was 4-3 the last time that they played. So if you know,
Ethan Horvath is in goal, the American guy.
Well,
he's not bad.
Well, Luton Town doesn't have a good defense. Arsenal has one of the top. Is it because he kind of looks like
Eminem?
Arsenal has one of the top of the league, and so I'm feeling like it'll be a 5-6 goal fest. Liverpool plus 2.5 over Sheffield United, and then MLS last bet for
MLS bets.
Oh yes!
Oh my God!
Yes. El Tráfico is this weekend.
Ooh.
You know what El Tráfico is?
Yeah, LAFC.
Yeah, LA Galaxy versus LAFC. I have LAFC taking that one, and I have that being a 2.5 goal as well. I feel as though that's going to get a little bit crazy. It always gets a little spicy over in LA.
I like it spicy.
Some micheladas.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's those are the 3 that I have for this week moving forward. So yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
I know where my my weekend DJ money is going now. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll be back soon. And anything else you want to leave on?
No, yeah. Thank you again for watching Dem Boys Watch Footy. This is going to be.
We don't have the rights to the song yet. We're working on it. I'm talking to Wiz Khalifa. He hasn't gotten back to me yet, but
He was the man. He was the man back in the day. Say
strings.
Yeah back in the day
Yep.
was probably one of my top songs. So
Same.
If you can do that with never, if you think you're better off alone, you make a whole rap song off of that. You got to win in my book. So yeah,
we do need a theme song at some point. We'll get back to that.
Yeah, we'll try to get some extra bells and whistles as well. So yeah, thanks again for watching and have a great one.